morning. Is there anybody out there?
Just not if you can hear me.
I could see.
I mean, I can grab the guitar and play it for you right now, live. I know that song. I can play that one.
I'm looking right in your kitchen window right now. That's right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 645 of the Two Dumb Users. Welcome back. This is Victory Tuesday. And it's also the eve of the Steeler game.
The December 23rd of Steeler game.
December 23rd?
The December 23rd of Steeler games. The eve of the eve. The day when you get hype.
I like it.
The hype hasn't gotten you yet. And then it's on the eve where the hype takes you over. And then you're ultimately disappointed on Christmas.
I think that's the truth.
That's how it works for everybody, right?
Yeah, like I spent all this time getting Ryan a great gift for the year, and he gives me bupkis. Nothing.
You say you got me something?
Yeah. Every year for Christmas, I get you something. You get me nothing.
You got me anything. You're literally making things up. I've never gotten anything from you ever in my life.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Good morning to John. Good morning to Jen. No, Raven 77 didn't show up. I was waiting for him.
He said he was coming. Right. Yeah, he was the one I was waiting to come back because he was like the cool one. Like, hey, we'll see. He was being respectful a little bit. It was the guy on Saturday a little bit before the show went off the rails. Brian's technical issues. He was talking some mad smack.
Yeah, I was wondering why Yins were letting you. I was wondering why Yins were letting him mess with you.
I just wanted to see what he would say. Just let him keep going.
At one point, I thought, "Geez, come on, guys, say something back." But Yins just kind of let him linger. I thought, finish him.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm trying to find something. Give me one moment here. No, it's something that this is, guys. Real quick, congratulations to Paul Skenes. He did win National Player Rookie of the Year yesterday. Today, the Manager of the Year will be chosen. Tomorrow, the Cy Young Award winners will be chosen, and also Thursday, the MVP will be chosen. But guys, as we were going off the air yesterday, we got a lot of Steelers to get into. We got. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Ravens win. We're also going to talk a little bit about this Browns game. But, guys, real quick before we do start, I want to just throw out there, just in case, because, again, we do have viewers on the other side of the planet. Maybe they just don't know these things. But, guys, that baseball card I was talking about yesterday, the Paul Skenes rookie card that the Pirates are trying to give away, plenty of things to get that card. They want this card really bad. This is what you could receive if you would find the Paul Skenes rookie card that the Pirates are so aggressively trying to trade for. Again, the fact that this is the trade that they're fighting for to get is what should really anger you as Pirates fans. But this is what you can get if you would get that card, guys. Get a hold of the Pittsburgh Pirates. They'll give you two season tickets behind home plate for the next 30 years. You don't think this Pirates team wants this baseball card? You don't think this baseball card is going to be worth over $1 million? There's no way, that this team, okay, that's just for starters. Get 30 years worth of seats right behind home plate. Also, you get a meet and greet with Paul Skenes. You get 2 Paul Skenes autographed jerseys, a softball game for 30 at PNC Park with coaching from Pirates alumni, private tour of Pirate City and Lecombe Park. Also, Livy Dunn is throwing her hat in and saying, you know what, they could sit with me in my suite. Guys, is this pathetic?
A little bit.
Is it just me?
A little bit.
And again, I've never seen the Pirates try so hard to get something in their in my whole life.
Right. I think it's cool. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's kind of cool that the Pirates are pursuing it and offering this. Obviously, like you said, that card is going to be worth a lot of money to someone, especially if Skenes just remains a great pitcher for the next 5, 6, 7 seasons. If he goes somewhere else and wins a World Series, as all these Pirates pitchers have done over the last 20 years, it'll definitely be worth probably that $1 million mark. I was thinking about this yesterday as I was listening to your show. You mentioned it. I thought, if it was me, I would definitely talk to the Pirates if I had this card. Like, I would say, hey, listen.
I would talk to them, yeah.
I would say this is the only one. You've already said this is the only one. I would have the bargaining power, right? So I would just show them, this is the card. You want it? I love everything you're throwing at me, but you know what? I need to pay off my house.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I need a retirement fund.
You want to do this for me? How about everything you asked for and another $250,000 in cash, and we'll call it a deal.
And the thing is,
you
can get all those things they offer you without giving them the card. Take it and sell the card and get your $1 million or whatever. You can get all that and have plenty left over.
It's that Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars thing, right? You know, it's that whole, hey, I can have what's better in my hand now is better than what could potentially come.
Yeah.
You don't know. Yeah. What if Paul Skenes breaks his arm next year and it just turns into one of these things? He has to retire or whatever. And it's like, oh, this was a really cool memento now. Maybe it's worth $50,000 to somebody, but I could have got better. Plus, you could sell a lot of that pirate stuff to people. Those seats, you could make bank off of those.
Absolutely.
I mean, in 10 years, maybe the Pirates will have another team that'll go and make a playoff run, and it'll be a Cueto game situation, and you could sell that seat for $50,000 to somebody, to some big rich business guy, maybe a Japanese owner, a US Steel or something, Yeah. So it's a cool idea. It's worth talking to the Buccos if I had the card, and but I would definitely.
I would definitely hear them out, see what they had to say.
Real quick, Finch, was that a gung ho reference you snuck in there? From Michael Keaton movie.
It was. Let me catch up on the board. Good morning. Good morning, John. Good morning to the One Man's Opinion Show. Good morning to Brian on the board. Let's see.
Good morning, friends.
John says, I knew it. He says, I just knew that guy wasn't going to show up, and I knew he wasn't going to either. That's just how Ravens fans are. Also, top of the morning to you, Brian. Also, get this one. John says, if I find the Skenes card, I want to date with Derpy's aunt.
Yeah, I threw that up there where you guys were talking. I think that's a fair offer. Finch is talking about all this money. No. I want to date with Derpy's hot aunt. We don't know if she's hot, but that's the assumption we're.
That's the risk, as with the card.
Let's make a deal.
Derpy's aunt could be hideous. You don't want to jump right into that.
I mean, have you seen you? I think she would lose in this situation.
She would lose what?
Like if you won and if you found the card and you had to go on a date with Derpy's aunt.
If I found the card,
I feel bad for Derpy's aunt.
I would go nowhere near Derpy's aunt. Derpy's aunt would be a memory to me if I found that card.
Lady. She's a sweet lady.
I'm sure she's a kind lady.
We don't even know if there's an aunt out there.
Yeah. But if she's
let's assume there is, and let's assume she's a kind lady.
Yeah, she's a sweet, sweet lady. Derpy might say otherwise, but we don't.
Good morning, Phil. Phil the Steel. What up, brother? Mike, also, we got the Mike Tomlin conference starting here at noon.
I thought he had it yesterday.
Oh, was it yesterday? What do we got, Mike, for injuries then?
Give me 1 second here. I did not have the Steeler page.
Mike was on top of it enough to tell me. You know what I mean? He had to tell me.
No, I just remember.
If I tell Ryan, I have to.
Because I saw Tomlin had a press conference.
I'm going to tell him, but I don't have the results. I just
okay.
I just want to be the guy to tell him.
There's no really update right now.
All right. So no injuries. That's a good thing, guys. I didn't think that there was any. I noticed Keanu Benton was on the ground at one point. I noticed the JPJ was on the ground, but he came back in and played well.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to me that there was any kind of serious injuries throughout the game. If there was, I thought we would figure it out early in the week. And as Mike said, nothing came up on the Mike Tomlin press conference injury report. So that's a huge plus. Huge plus.
There are two listed as questionable.
Highsmith
and Michael Pruitt.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But it says right here, Tomlin said that they're questionable, probable, questionable to probable. It says here on ESPN for Highsmith. So possibly back. We'll see what happens.
You want to hear something interesting, guys? Oh, hold on. I have to catch this. I apologize because yesterday we were super busy. A lot of information, but we didn't get to keep up with the board as much as I like to. And this one, I always feel it. You could feel this one. Brian says, Phil, I haven't watched the game yet, so I can't trash Watt yet today because Brian, of course, is the Watt trasher on the show, I guess. And him and Phil the Still, they go at it. So I am going to be keeping my eyes on this one closely throughout the show today. Good morning to Joe Johnson on the board, Steel City. That's right, baby. Get this, guys. The guys talking about TJ Watt. TJ Watt, guys, he became the sack leader against the Ravens over the weekend.
Yeah.
Nobody has sacked a Ravens quarterback more than TJ Watt has in the history of the Ravens. TJ Watt has 17 sacks against the Ravens now, which is the most, which he was tied with James Harrison at 16 prior to the game. But that's not even what the most fun part is. They have the opportunity to do that to the Browns and the Bengals here real soon. They're going into the Browns game. Watt is second all times on the sack list against the Browns, only behind Terrell Suggs. Terrell Suggs of the Ravens has 19, and TJ Watt has 17. And then against the Bengals, the leading all-time sacker against the Bengals, guys, Mike, you might want to hold on. Cam Hayward, 13 and a half sacks.
Wow.
Cam Hayward, 13 and a half sacks. Nobody has ever sacked him more than Cam Hayward. Number two, tied at number two is, number two by itself is Suggs with 12 and a half. Hayward has 13 and a half. Suggs has 12 and a half. And tied for three is Watt, Myles Garrett, and Jason Gilden. Jason
Gilden, baby.
They all have 12 sacks against Cincinnati all time. So those that again this season that could change. TJ Watt can be the sole holder of the sack leader of all the teams in our division if he keeps going the way that things are going. Hope that he does that. But again, right now he's the all-time sack leader against the Baltimore Ravens. Nobody has sacked a Raven quarterback more than TJ Watt has in his just short tenure, 8 years, maybe in this league. So good for him. Maybe he could get catch up a little bit on Cleveland, and then we got Cincy, and then we got Cleveland again. Guys, absolutely crazy schedule. Browns, Bengals, Browns, and then we got get this, guys. We're only gonna have 6 games of football left after this week. 6 games. So if you can believe that, it's almost gone as fast as it came, Mike.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday after we got off air of how fast like the season has gone through and how slow it took for the whole process to start from the end of the Super Bowl till the beginning of the draft. And then we had to wait till training camp. And now it's a blink of an eye and the season is half over. I don't like this. I don't like it at all. I want football to go longer. Make these guys play 22 games a year.
Yes.
F their hamstrings.
For the amount of money that they make, it's definitely a thought to be considered, right? I mean, the amount of money that's paid to these players, some players earning $40 to $50 million a year in the NFL is ridiculous. And that just goes to show how big the product the NFL is in general. And that's why they're having games on Christmas Day and on a Wednesday, and they're putting it on every streaming service now because the money is there. Could you imagine if they extended the season by another 4 weeks and made it a 21 game season? That would be awesome for the fans, but I could also understand it would be a real pain in the ass.
You do that, make it like a 60-man roster at that point.
You'd have to not only extend the roster, but possibly put maybe limits on how many games a player can play. Tell a quarterback you only can start 16.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
Make that backup position. Yeah.
Make it worthy to have, if you're going to have a 60-man roster or a 63-man roster, you're going to have to carry 4 QBs and that sort of thing. Maybe you do something like that. And that would be good for the Players Association as well, because it would spread that wealth out a little bit more, make more practice squad guys, give them better jobs, and at least be able to earn that league minimum. And I'm sure the league minimum would probably go up. I think it's $1 million right now. It would definitely go up in that case as well. But
you guys remember when we were growing up, they had the 2 bye weeks through the 90s. Every team had 2 bye weeks. Yeah. And then you had 4 preseason games. So they already stripped one of the bye weeks away from the guys. They already added an extra regular season game and took a preseason game away. So I mean, there's no 2 ways about it. They know where the money's at. They know that they're making a shitload of money. So who knows what it'll be in the future, guys? As you said, maybe it'll be a 20-game season. Maybe
I think another thing they would have to do as well is require all the cold weather teams to get inside. The next round of state, for instance, Cleveland's new stadium is supposed to be a dome, right? If they're going to extend the season by 4 more weeks to where it's running into early March, if they go that route, they would almost have to have some indoor stadiums in some of these places like Cleveland, Buffalo.
Boo.
Yeah, I don't like the idea, but it's just a thought that came to mind. That would definitely be a part of the discussion, because you don't want these guys playing in August and July. You don't.
No.
Well, yeah,
He'd be more
Miami,
dangerous.
Miami already has the advantage by making teams wear their dark colors, giving
Right.
them no shade. So it's only fair. The cold weather teams are able to do that too. But
Yeah, I mean, all these stadiums are going to be coming around in the next 10 years for
Yeah.
re-up.
I just don't-
Acrisure Stadiums is 6 more seasons, and as many Steelers seasons will be played at Heinz Field as were
It's
played at Three Rivers.
Stadium.
That's
Ain't that
insane.
So
crazy?
Yeah.
it's not, it is crazy. It's that's going to have to be in the cards if you're going to extend the season. It's just
What
it
am
would
I-
have to be.
Jen, what am I making you upset about, Mike? What's going on?
That the season's almost over.
Oh, can you believe it? After this week, guys, and again, this is only in 2 days from now. After this game's over, you're only going to have 6 more regular season games. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable to me. And before you know it, we can't wait till the draft gets here. We can't wait till free agency gets here. We can't wait. We have 6 more months till camp. So, guys, let's enjoy it. Let me give you some interesting numbers. The interesting number Tuesday. Here we go. Guys, since the Dallas Cowboys, they played last night, they lost to the Houston Texans 34-10. I thought maybe we could get a little help from the Cowgirls. That didn't work out. The Cowboys have not won a game since they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 5 straight games ago. We have not lost a game since we lost to the Dallas Cowboys 5 straight games ago. Talking about the tale of 2 teams, a lot of things that I see on my social media, I see a lot of Cowboys fans, a lot of people from the area. If you don't like the Steelers for whatever reason, people like the Cowboys, and they're just devastated by what's going on with this Dallas Cowboy team. And I watched it last night, and there is great reason to be concerned. This team is bad. They're real bad. Finch, are you enjoying this Dallas Cowboys slump as much as I am?
I love it. I'm not a person bred of hate. You know what I
Right.
mean? I am not an
not.
orc from Isengard. Okay. I'm not here to just hate on everybody and everything. But sometimes the hate comes out, and that blue star just does it. It makes me angry. It makes me want to kill people. I'm so happy that they're losing. Forget those guys.
Jesus.
F them.
He's over here punching babies, kicking
Something that
puppies.
came up a couple weeks
Only
ago,
the ones
Finch.
from Dallas.
Only the ones
Yeah,
from Dallas.
only Dallas
right.
babies, of course.
Right,
This came up a
Irving,
couple
Texas.
weeks ago, Finch. What exact color are those pants anyway? Are they blue? Are they silver? Are they silver blue? I literally have never seen the color that the Dallas Cowboys pants is anywhere else on anything in my life. I think the color's made up.
I grew up with the Crayola 256 pack, and that color was in there, and they called it Blilver.
Blilver. That's what they are. They're Blilver.
Well, not only is the team itself falling apart, Jerry World is literally crumbling as we speak. They opened the dome for the first time in 2 years, and sheet metal was falling
Yeah, what
apart.
was
It was
that?
stuck in the rafters. They had to close it back up.
It's like the Civic Arena all over again.
Exactly, and they got the window in there that hits you in the sun going into the second and fourth quarter on one end zone. God forbid you put the draperies down. It's a
Jerry
nightmare
has
down
lost
there.
his mind.
Oh, I love it. And the syphilis
He's
has
losing
taken
his mind.
I can't
This
believe
is-
it took this long, to be honest.
syphilis is calling the shots for Jerry, and it's a thing of beauty.
I love it.
I'm loving it.
Here's another thing you don't recognize, guys, or people don't realize. The Chargers. Do you guys realize the Chargers are above the Baltimore Ravens in the standings? This is how
The
big
Chargers
this win.
are sneaky good right now.
They're sneaky good.
playing
And
decent
this is how
football,
big
and
that
they're
this
winning
past
games.
game was for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because if we didn't win, we're sitting behind the Chargers. The Ravens are sitting pretty only a game behind the Chiefs. This is how big that this game was. People know that it's a big game, the Ravens and the Steelers. But as far as this conference goes, as far as the division goes, again, the Chargers have a better game. The Baltimore Ravens, Finch, they're sitting at the number 6 seed as we speak, which means, you know what? You're only 1 seed above the Denver Broncos, who gets in with a 6-5 record at this point. Guys, I know there's no chance that the Baltimore Ravens don't make the playoffs, but is there a chance the Baltimore Ravens don't make the playoffs?
Ooh, there could be.
I mean, look what's going on in the division. You can't win a division. If the Steelers win your division, that leaves 3 spots. If the Chargers are ahead of you, and that leaves the Broncos and the Ravens, again, I mean, there's some teams fighting. There's some teams knocking. And what happens if this Cincinnati team starts throwing on other teams the way they do against the Ravens? Does Cincinnati make a late run?
I don't think Cincinnati makes a late run. If they do, they're going to have to leapfrog Baltimore, and they're behind them with 2-0 in the head-to-head matchup. But as San Diego keeps playing well, I think Baltimore can sneak in, but they might be the bottom seed.
Losing a hard fought game like this game. I mean, there were more punches thrown in this Steelers Baltimore game than there were in Tyson Paul, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's a tough game, and the Steelers came out inched away without scoring any touchdowns. That is a heartbreaker for the Ravens right now.
Yeah.
And it might be the beginning of the end for them. They could go and drop 2 more straight very easily. They could lose to they could lose like the Browns or something again, or the Bengals.
They lost to the Browns already. They lost
or
to
they
the
already,
Raiders already.
Sorry, they already played the Bengals twice, but you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
this could be it. If they lose 2 more games out of the next 3, no matter what the schedule is, the Chargers are going to take that spot. The Steelers
That's what I'm
will be
saying.
in good shape. The Steelers also own a lot of tiebreakers right now. We beat the
Because
Chargers.
We only
We
lost the one conference game.
We beat
That
the
puts us
Chargers.
ahead
We
of-
beat the Raiders. We beat the Ravens. Those
Finch,
are
I was
huge
saying
wins
yesterday,
for
we
us.
beat five teams that are sitting
Quality
in playoff
teams.
spots right now. And
Quality
guess
teams.
what? We were 5-0. We did not lose against the team that's sitting in the playoff spot as we speak.
Including a couple of really solid NFC teams at the time. I mean, Washington was solid when we beat them. They played us well. That was the game Russ went a little nuts. So, but the Steelers are playing quality ball against quality teams, and a lot of the best defenses we've seen are behind us. Now we have to play against the best offenses, and we played the number one offense, and we contained them. So that's
and that Washington's offense wasn't
Right.
too bad either, Finch. I think that's back-to-back weeks against probably the 2 highest scoring offenses in the league.
You know what, though? I think Washington may have been a little bit of a flash in the pan. I watched that
Absolutely.
Philadelphia game, and it was not great for them.
But
so
once they get past the Pennsylvania part of their schedule for now, I think that they're going to get back to their winning ways because Philly and Pittsburgh are 2 pretty good teams. They're both sitting at 8-2, right?
what about the idea of a possible Keystone Super Bowl?
I keep
Oh.
hearing it. I don't. You know what? I don't
This
care
is
for
the
that
year
one
I
way or
want
the
it.
other. If it
I care.
happens,
I
it
just-
happens.
It's just one of those things it would be nice to see it. It's like the Subway Series in 96 or
Could
whatever
you
year
imagine
it was,
losing that Super Bowl? I don't want to play against a team that we'll
That's
lose
true.
to.
Yeah,
They'll own that over
And
for the rest of
Philadelphia
ever.
the Eagles have kind of dominated us over the last 15
Exactly.
seasons.
Well, it's
Most
because
of the
we
times
played in
played them-
Philadelphia.
We always
every-
play in Philadelphia. Yeah, always.
and we can't win there. And back to the Ravens real quick. They're only a game ahead of the Denver Broncos, and the Broncos are coming on strong.
Exactly. That's
Bo
what I'm
Nix.
saying.
Bo Nix has been
My boy.
wonderful.
Yeah,
He has been being wonderful
really
ever
pulled
since
it
the
up,
day
yeah.
we beat them. He has been wonderful, and I brought up this Chargers team yesterday because, again, look at how important the Steelers win over the Ravens was. We could be worrying about right now, or are we going to be sitting in a playoff spot 6 weeks from now? Again, we're sitting kind of pretty. We have 4 Ohio teams left on the schedule. Then we have the 3 tough games: Philadelphia, Baltimore, Kansas City. If you don't lose all 3 of them, I think you're going to be in good shape. If you win 1, I think they can win 2. I think you're going to be in good shape, especially if you do with the Ohio teams, which you're supposed to do with the Ohio teams.
That's all we got to do is beat the Ohio teams. Even if we lose to the Ravens when we play them again, that'll still give us that. We'll still have everything there. Like we'll have that great divisional record, and it will be a couple of games up if we just, if we don't lose more than 2. We're going to be ahead of the Ravens in the final standings. We're going to win the division. So the Steelers just need to not implode. Is what.
And
we need
again,
to do.
You're right. Absolutely that's huge. And 2, as you were saying, Finch, I mean, we only have 1 conference loss. The other loss was to Dallas. That, doesn't count toward anything.
Right.
So basically, with the head-to-heads that we had that you were talking of, with only having the 1 conference loss, you're right. If we are tied with Buffalo, we are over Buffalo because they have 2 AFC losses. They lost to Baltimore. They lost to Houston. We only have the only one AFC loss. So if we go, we finish with the same record as Baltimore. We finish higher than them. We just have to go out there, handle our business. This is how you want to be. You don't want to have to come down to week 16, week 17, week 18 and hope for the Ravens to have to lose to the Jets or something like this,
In
out.
last week,
Yeah.
week 17, 18, the only thing you want to worry about is, are we going to get the number 1 seed?
Right.
Are we going to get the bye? That's all you want to worry about at that point. We want to have the division locked. If we can get to where we're 2 games up at week 17 and we don't have to, week 17, and the Steelers already locked up that divisional playoff spot, and that would just be the best. I mean, that's what we need. That's what they need to play for, and I'm sure Mike Tomlin is drilling it into their brains.
Let's catch up on some of these messages on the board, guys. Let's see. Brian says over on One Man's Opinion, Cleveland, the mistake, not by the lake. John says, I'm like Heinz Ward. I'm getting a manicure and a pedicure while I'm listening to the podcast.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Living the dream.
Phyllis still says no, they're not. They freaking beat our Steelers and at home.
Yeah, that the
Brian
Cry
also
Girls.
says the the Dallas cheerleaders are great, though. I have to admit. Brian also says Lamar can get hurt. If so, the Ravens may not make the playoff. That's what I'm saying, guys. I'm not sold on these Ravens. Yes, they're very good. Again, don't get me wrong. The record against the rest of the NFL that Lamar has is 64-19,
Yeah,
and his record against the Pittsburgh Steelers is 1-4. So,
yeah,
you tend to think it's probably going to go well enough for them guys to get in. But again, Lamar, we've seen him get hurt before.
yeah.
Uh, Jen says Matt Williamson had a stat that the Steelers have 22. Jen, I was just going to get to that next. You
Mhm.
took the words right out of my face. 22 consecutive quarters with a point on the board. That is the longest streak in the NL. That's right. Going into last game, we had 18 straight quarters where we had scored consecutively. And now after that game, we scored in all 4 quarters. 22 straight quarters the Pittsburgh Steelers scored. They are the leaders in that category in the NFL, guys.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Mhm.
That's kind of the Steelers' way. John says the Christmas game could determine the number one. Absolutely. I sure hope that it does. The Christmas game determines the number 1 seed. And also, that's all league MVP, Boswell. Yeah, what can you say about the Boss? I like the fact that these are the 2 best kickers in the league, Boswell and Tucker. Tucker complains that the grass is messy. He misses 2 kicks. Our guy gets 6 out of 6 on the same grass. It was just a case of Baltimore getting their ass kicked. They came to Pittsburgh. They got their ass kicked on every level. I'm laughing looking at all these excuses. Guys, you might want to get ready for the next team and forget about this. And
Yeah, like Finch said, man, that this could have lasting psychological impact on the Ravens. And not only was it a physical game, but now they're still talking about what happened
right.
the day after.
And all they
Now
did
they're
all
gonna,
week leading to was talked about.
yeah,
Where's the
yeah.
preparation up here with these guys? I don't see it. Again, I'm seeing little things, guys,
Yeah.
that may work against this
And,
Ravens team down the road.
and the fans down there, they are hating Harbaugh. They're like, he can't beat the Steelers. Mike Tomlin has his number. We can never get over the hump with these guys. If we play them in the playoffs, the season's a waste. We're wasting Lamar Jackson's time down here. So yeah, things aren't all rainbows and kittens down there in Baltimore land. They've had some
Guys,
bad losses
yeah,
this year too, man. I was going to say they have bad losses. The Browns and the Ravens, man. Bad losses.
absolutely. Guys, you guys want to hear the Super Bowl odds, the Super Bowl winner odds right now?
Yeah.
After this past weekend, guys, the Detroit Lions lead the way with a plus 325. They are right now the favorite to win the Super Bowl overall. Kansas City's at a plus 450. Buffalo's at a plus 700. Baltimore, that's right. Baltimore next on the list at a plus 800. Philadelphia plus 900. And Pittsburgh all the way back to the number 6 spot. It is plus 1,600. But I got to tell you guys, from a couple weeks back when we were sitting at plus 2,800 or whatever it was, we're making way. We're beating good teams. We're beating quality teams. And again, Finch, Mike, we are 5-0 against teams that are sitting in playoff spots at this moment. We have 3 more on the schedule. I expect that number to go up if we continue to win. But I think I got to say right now, guys, I think that Detroit is kind of the league's baby doll at this time, don't you?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, they are the cream of the crop right now. And the way they're running up the score on people and they're scoring at will, they're dangerous. But, we saw what happened to him last year in the playoffs. It fell apart. Dan Campbell's aggressiveness caught up to him. The team's swagger caught up with them. They were already celebrating what in the first, second quarter that they were already winning, already going to the Super Bowl. So can this team keep it together mentally from now up until, all through the playoffs? And that's going to be a question mark with that team for him. I like the players that they have. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. But my guy, he can get a little obsessive and a little crazy. He still recites the name of every single player drafted before him at wide receiver before every game. He carries that emotion into the game, but he can lose it in there. He can lose focus if things don't go well, and that team can. So can they just keep it together? And if they can look out, I think they can run the table.
What my problem is, and what I would like to see with the Detroit Lions, I'd like to see them go 16-1, because if they go 16-1, the chances of them winning out is going to be a difficult thing to do. You're going to win. You're going to go 16-1 in the season, and then you're going to go in the playoffs and win 1, 2, 3 games against the 3 best teams that you could play. I like that. I like the fact that they are not losing. So maybe if the Pittsburgh Steelers could sneak in, or maybe that's going to be the burden for the Detroit Lions, is trying to win that many games in a row, which I think is extremely difficult to do in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, it's even mind blowing that the Chiefs are doing it. But again, that's a whole different argument for another day, guys. But one more thing, Mike, about this Raven game, we have to put it behind us. We have to. We have 2 days until game day one more time here. 2 times in 5 days. Mike, we outscored the number 1 offense with our kicker. That
yes,
has
we
to
did.
be that has to be kicking these guys in the nuts in Baltimore, in Maryland. No wonder all they could do is talk about the Steelers. No wonder all they could do is continue to talk about this. Guys, that was one of the best ass beatings. Yes, it was only an 18-16 win, but in Pittsburgh, in Baltimore language, that's called an ass kicking.
That is like that's what people who don't watch this rivalry understand. One, style points don't matter. The only thing that matters is having one more point than your opponent on there. I don't know why I got caught up into. I thought both teams would be scoring lots of points. That's how bad that Ravens defense is. But it's Pittsburgh, it's Baltimore. This is what you're going to expect. It was a fight, man. That's
what they call an AFC North blowout,
baby. Oh yeah, it is for these two to win by more than a point. That's a blowout, and it was a great. Oh God, it was a great win. It was offenses struggled because the defenses played so well, and it came down to special teams. It came down to someone who was going to make the play and who wasn't going to make the play.
Another interesting guy. Yeah, good.
I was going to say it looked like Russ wasn't going to make the play. It looked like Lamar was going to make the play, and our defense was able to bail out Russ, and Lamar wasn't able to capitalize on our mistake.
One other thing, guys, I don't know if anybody realizes, but Derrick Henry never beat the Steelers. He is what they call it, the best running back in the league. He's led the league in the rushing, all these things. Guys, Derrick Henry, keep this in mind. Also, Baltimore, next time you see us and you go through all your motions again of all the talk, your running back has never beat us either. So don't feel bad that Lamar is only 1-4 against us. He's have a terrible record against the Steelers, and we don't expect that to change. Guys, let's jump into this board for a moment. John says the passive Ravens response is they beat themselves as if the Steelers aren't good enough to beat them. I know that's their response. We did it to ourselves. No, guess what? You got your asses kicked.
Whereas Tomlin was
saying, they did make a lot of mistakes, though. I mean, you got to admit they had a lot of penalties. Tucker misses 2 kicks, a couple of big time drop passes.
I haven't seen him do that against any other teams, though. I just kind of oddity.
That's what happened.
No, you're right. You're right about that. But it's real easy to get caught up in that mindset. We beat ourselves. We beat ourselves, and they were 1 play away from winning the game, and they didn't make the play when they needed to, and that's why we got the W, as Mike Tomlin would say.
One more time. I like to call this an AFC North blowout, 18-16. The next, we got Boz is awesome and Frazier is cool. Thoreau draw. Welcome on the board to you. Brian's, let's see, Phil Still. Watt got that special force crew cut, and the black and gold defense showed up Sunday. He did. He got the buzz cut going on. Jen says, I agree to Jarrell. Frazier and McCormick are nasty. And fitting. When I watched the game last night, what's going to happen, guys, when our offensive linemen that are injured get healthy and come back? Who's going to get the shaft on this offensive line? Because everybody is playing well enough right now. And do you really want to mess up a McCormick's development? The guy starts a whole season, has a pretty good season. Do you want to mess him up? Do you want to mess up, somebody that's playing week to week to get one of these guys back in? That's going to be an interesting scenario when it gets.
You don't pull any starters or anything. No. You put the guys back where they were. What you do though is you rotate a lot more. You have that depth, and we can get somebody in there to give somebody else a break on the quote, maybe the easier plays.
Yeah, I think Fatanu gets worked in if he can come, if he's going to play this year.
Absolutely,
he gets worked in. It's a redshirt year for him. It sucks, but you work him in.
Right.
If the
game experience, if you're not,
Broderick Jones is going to fuck up at some point to where he needs to be replaced for a series or two. So that'd be
if it's not, it'll be a personal.
He had a couple of bad penalties. He had a couple of bad holding penalties this week. So it could happen.
Yeah, it can happen.
Brian says Roquan Smith had 13 tackles and Patrick Queen had 10. I was looking forward to see how those two played. One more thing. Roquan Smith did have a good game, 13 tackles. But as Mike and I were saying last week on the show, don't try to convince me that he's the next Ray Lewis over there. We've played Ray Lewis many times, couple times a year, sometimes 3 times a year. Don't even try to convince us that that's Roquan Smith, even in the same ballpark. The guy's good. He had 13 tackles, but he's no Ray Lewis. I can tell you that. Also, let's see. Phil Steele says, yeah, let's go to the Poopers week. I'm guessing that's the Browns. Okay, yeah, Chubb got hurt last season versus the Steelers. Mike Finch, Nick Chubb. Is he enough to make a difference this week, or is the Steelers just too good of a team for what the Browns have to offer right now? Again, they started shedding players before the trade deadline. They kind of threw up the white flag early, sending Amari Cooper here, sending I forget who the defensive player was. Is Nick Chubb enough to get this win by the Cleveland Browns Thursday night?
No. He could definitely make a special play. I mean, he's capable. Derrick Henry could have made a special play too, and he didn't when he needed to. So you could look at both sides of the coin on that one. But I think the Steelers are going to score touchdowns this week. I think that Russ Wilson may have taken it a little bit personal that he wasn't able to get anybody into the end zone despite throwing the ball to 9 different people and handing it off to like 6 different more. And even running those wild plays, those 2 awesome plays with Justin Fields, they still couldn't score any touchdowns. So I think it's going to break open this week versus the Browns. And we're going to be too far ahead at where even if Nick has a 70-yard touchdown run, they're still going to lose by 8,
Brian makes a good point on the board also. Roquan Smith didn't kill anybody. So we facing a killer
allegedly.
And we weathered that storm for many years. I think Roquan, we're going to be okay with him. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, hold on. Yeah. Ass kick.
I was going to get to him. Finish your point, whatever you were saying.
No. Yeah, real quick. The only player on the Browns offense that scares me is Njoku. Dude's a damn good tight end. And tight ends tend to feast on us. But apparently Charles must be new to the Steelers-Ravens rivalry.
Yeah, that is 2-point win is an AFC.
That's an AFC ass whooping.
Go look at the records.
Go look through the series. You'll see a lot of Steelers wins there, but a lot.
It's only been 8 of the last 9, 11 of the last 15. You'll get it someday. I don't really want to give this person too much attention, Mike. Let's move on. Let's see. Also, one other thing Mike brought up yesterday was, George Pickens having 728 yards, which is 3rd most in the whole league, which was kind of mind-blowing. Jamar Chase has 1,056, which is freakish. Number 2 is Jefferson with 912. Ooh. Pickens was 728, Flowers was 727, Garrett Wilson was 722, and McLaurin was 721. Guys, number 3 through 6 on the list is all within 7 yards in this in the receiver race. Again, Jamar Chase number 1 with 1,056, Jefferson with 912, but number 3 through 6 is Pickens, Zay Flowers, Garrett Wilson, and McLaurin from over in Washington, 728, 727, 722, and 721. Mike, who would have thought? I would have never guessed that George Pickens was number 3. Finch, you?
If you'd asked me earlier this season, if you'd have gave me those numbers, 6 weeks ago, I would have laughed at you.
Yeah.
He's number 4 now. CD played last night to bump up, but like you're saying, Ryan, though, you just bump those guys down 1 spot each, but all within 6 yards. George is now number 4, just a few yards, like 40-some yards behind CD Lamb, who played, and that's incredible. Like Finch said, who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Can I say something else? to Charles Pickett? Charles, listen to this. You have the number 1 offense, right? You got outscored by a kicker. I'm just going to leave it right there. Guys.
Points.
So guys, again, Cleveland, we got the Browns coming up. George Pickens is number 3 in the league in receiving. We were supposed to be in the basement. The Ravens were supposed to be at the top. The Browns were supposed to be at the top. The Bengals were supposed to be at the top. I mean, no, here's the Steelers. Surprise, surprise, everybody. 8-2, number 3. We were number 2 the other night until Buffalo won. We do have that hot tiebreaker against them, and we were 1 game behind Kansas City. And just for a record, the Baltimore Ravens are in the number 6 seed, only 1 game ahead of the Denver Broncos for a playoff spot.
In danger of dropping out, because if the Colts come on,
The Colts are,
Baltimore here, like you said, Lamar tends to get hurt. And if he does get hurt, look out.
And they got the Richardson back. So I think that the Colts are feeling a new vibe, and they're just sitting right outside of the playoffs. They could take Denver's spot within a week or two here. And again, Baltimore's only sitting one game ahead of the Denver Broncos. Mike, I want to jump in here real quick. I want to make the announcement on the picks for the week. And then I'm going to just kind of go through the scores of the week in the NFL because it's so quick. We have to make the turnover. Thursday is the next game. We have very little time to mess around like we usually do. So I'm going to give you the picks, Mike. You did win. And I'm not even talking about you won the picks this week. You won so impressively. I've never seen anybody on the show do this. Not yet. Mike, only one game. One game you lost on the whole entire list of games in the NFL last week, from Thursday night between the Philly and the Redskins, all the way up until Monday night last night, the two Texas teams. I'm sorry, Mike. One game you lost. You only lost by picking the Cincinnati Bengals to take the Rams.
No.
And was it the Rams or was it the Chargers? One of those LA teams.
Chargers.
The Chargers.
It was over the Chargers.
Why would you pick the Bengals to beat them anyway?
I thought their offense would have been able to just keep scoring points. And their idiot flipping kicker, McPherson, McNuggets, whatever his name is, could have caked a single one of his missed field goals. I would have won. I would have hit the whole goddamn
AFC
thing.
North had a terrible weekend on the from the 3-pointer, but except for one guy. Crazy.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of tweets, people going like, hey, did all the NFL kickers go out drinking the night before? I was like, yeah, everyone but Boswell, man.
Boz.
Yeah. Or Boz drank them under the table and said, watch this, boys.
That's right. So, Mike, you win.
Yeah.
You got every single pick right. All the picks. You got them all right. Yins picked Cincinnati. You and Derpy both. Derpy only missed 2 games. I got to say, Yins guys were very impressive. He, of course, had his strategy where he picks every team that you do except for that one game where he thinks he could win that you took the other team. So in that case, he loses 2. I think this is why Derpy wasn't here today. He's usually in on Tuesday. He said he'll be here Thursday for the picks and that. But guys, Mike, you did win it and convincingly. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
you guys both overshot on the tiebreaker. That was irrelevant, though. Mike, you pull this thing back to 7-4. 7-4 on the season. Derpy is ahead 7-4. But you know what? There's a lot of football left, Mike. You can still win this thing. And if you go on a nice little streak now, again, you hit every game but one.
I'm just that damn good. And if I would have
not really. Mike, must I remind everybody you lost to an inanimate object last year picking?
That doesn't count. That doesn't
remember
count.
Derpy? Hey, remember Derpy lost to your 5-year-old?
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. So, so who's the real winner here? Me.
The board.
The board's always the winner. Guys, let's knock out these scores from last week. The Eagles, they beat the Commanders last Thursday 26-18 to take the first place spot over in the NFC East. Game between two teams that I didn't really think could Dolphins 34, Raiders 19, Saints 35, Browns 14. The Colts come back and win over the Jets 28-27. The Vikings 23-13 over the Titans. The Packers 20-19 over the Bears. This was the Bears' first division game as well. Steelers and the Bears both played their first division game last week.
That was a kick in the nuts game if you're a Bears fan.
Man. Yeah, you ain't kidding.
And they've had a couple of them now this year.
That's been their season.
Green Bay should have been flagged because it was what they did was illegal on the field goal. At least according to McAfee, breaking it down by kicking goals.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he was saying how they guys were being pushed and stuff. He wasn't 100% sure. He hasn't kept on rule changes and stuff, but he remembers like what happened looked illegal. What Green Bay did, they kind of got away with one there. More power to him if you can get away with it. But if it was Minka Fitzpatrick out there, it'd be flags for days.
Flags everywhere.
Best team in the league versus the worst team in the league. The Detroit Lions 52, the Jacksonville Jaguars 6. Woo! The Rams 28, the Patriots 22. The Seahawks 20, the 49ers 17. Boy, did the Niners sort of fall off. The Broncos 38, the Falcons 6. The Bills 30, the Chiefs 21, knocking the Chiefs off of their undefeated pedestal. The Chargers, they beat the Bengals 34-27 on Sunday night. And last night on Monday Night Football, the Texans, 34. The Cowboys 10. I think the Cowgirls are down and out, Mike. I do.
Oh, yeah.
They threw in the towel, huh?
Oh, yeah. You got Cooper Rush starting, and yeah, it's not looking good. Not looking good at all.
And I've never been a Dak Prescott guy, but I'm thinking, man, they sure need their Dak Prescott back. I mean,
They do. They do. He's like Lamar. Will do kick ass in the regular season, man. But come playoff time, these guys just don't have it. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a mental thing or what, man. But they just can't get it done. Yeah, ask Derpy Thursday.
Ask Derpy Thursday.
Get those questions ready. Keep them clean. He
gets nervous. That's the thing about Derpy. He gets nervous.
I'll answer the inappropriate questions for him. I don't care.
I'll ask him the most inappropriate questions ever. He just gets a little nervous. I don't know what his deal is.
He's a good kid. He's a good lad.
A good kid. He's 30 years old. You know what I mean?
I know, right? Kid. I mean,
yeah, to us, he's a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a sweet little angel.
Let me get back to. I seen one right here. John. There he is.
This one right here.
I wanted to call this is the guy. We have the guy on the crew now that could get this done. Mike, I'm sorry, Finch. We always been talking about getting call-ins. We were doing something different for a while through Zoom. But it became a thing because you had to send invites and things out like that. So moving forward, that is something we also like to do. We like to take call-ins. I do know that some of the viewers would certainly like to call in. We've had this conversation before. I would love to do it. So I
read that comment earlier, and I was kind of thinking about that while you guys were chatting.
Okay.
And we have a Discord channel, and you can do calls through there. Now, how we would link it to our program that we use online for the streaming, I'm not sure, but I'll look into it. And I know
I'll look into it too.
I could probably figure it out. And I do know I was playing with some settings here on my screen right now with the service that we use, and it does have like share screen functions and all that stuff. I'm wondering if I can. If we can get guys or girls onto the Discord into the voice, if we could find a way to do it, maybe through a private voice chat or something.
All right,
we'll
work on
send an invite. I'll look into it.
We got the guy. We got the right guy on the job.
To do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll read too, see what I can find.
The other question is though, and Mike brought this up in the Discord. By the way, please join the Discord, everybody. I can't post a link in the YouTube chat; it doesn't allow you. But you guys got to join it. It's a ton of fun over there, and. Mike asked me, he really wants Feel the Steel to join because he wants to know if he does, in fact, speak in all caps.
I love it. No, I want him to join the voice chat one day when we're all chatting.
But
I know I have to hear Feel the Steel talk. I have to. Too. If that's how he talks all the time, that would be insane.
I would love it though. He's like, he could be like our Stephen A. Smith, like our Max Kellerman, up in the face. I love it. Yes.
Let's see. Jen says Cowboys threw in the towel and the sheet metal.
Yes, they did.
Yes. Ding.
Let's see. Brian says NBA news. LaMelo Ball got fined $100K for saying I don't discriminate. Somehow it was anti-gay or something. Also, any chance Paul Skenes' mustache will be on? Since you know what, that is a very good possibility. I think we should be expecting Paul Skenes' mustache to be joining us later this week. I wanted to wait to see if he wins because we also do have Cy Young. We also have other awards throughout the rest of the week. So we're gonna wait to see how that plays out. But I think Paul Skenes' mustache will be joining us later on in the week. One more thing, guys. Did anybody hear this? And I don't know if it's true or not, guys. Did anybody see this? The referee crew for Sunday night or for the game between the Bills and the Chiefs. This is something I saw on social media. I don't know if it's true. It said yesterday. Today, the NFL announced that the officiating crew of the Buffalo-Kansas City game yesterday has been terminated. In a brief statement, the commissioner of officiating simply says, we have an agenda and they didn't follow it. Does anybody have anything to this?
That's satire.
It is? You don't... Did you look satire. Or
it's satire?
Well, I mean, this stuff happens. I mean, is there anything out there? Anybody that knows anything about this, or are you just gonna blindly say this is satire and hope that we all follow along?
I'm just gonna use some critical thinking here and say that's satire.
Well, I don't care about your critical thinking. Look it up and see if anybody sees that this happened or if it hasn't happened. I don't care. I'm just asking if you've seen it, Mike. Fudge, man.
No, there's nothing on there. No. There's nothing. There's literally nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want you to tell me now because you almost have a point. You have a agenda now. I want to hear from.
I don't have an agenda. I just apply.
Well, the fact that you just started answering without knowing, I want to see from somebody that knows. But anyway, we do have to move on.
It would have been all over Twitter. It would have been all over everywhere else.
Well, that's why I'm saying I've seen it in a few places. That's why I'm asking. Anyway, listen, I don't have time to do this. Listen, Finchy says Discord live streams of the Tyson event was a lot. You know what? That was fun, guys. It would have been cool to get a lot of people who follow the show in there as well and watch that Tyson fight. That would have been cool. Mike,
I've been considering maybe doing maybe post Steeler game live streams in the Discord only. Anybody that's on there, we get a good 1:00 or 4:00 Sunday game when I'm available. I can jump in the voice and we can chat. And anybody wants to come in and we can just have a nice little chat post game when we're all pumped up and everything's fresh in our minds. It'd be fun to do 1 or 2 of those before the end of the season.
Yeah.
All right. I got confirmation from Phil.
I'm usually available. I can host those from my end real easy with Discord. It'll be great.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of new stuff coming up, guys. Be sure to keep tuned. A lot of new stuff. I got Finch. We got Mike working on things. A couple things here real quick before we jump into the website and the question of the day, guys. The Pitt Panthers, they get the win last night on the hardwood, 93-48 over VMI. That takes Pitt up to 5-0 on the season. They play at LSU Friday at 2:30. Pitt LSU basketball Friday 2:30. Again, Paul Skenes, he's won the National League Rookie of the Year. Today, they will be deciding the Manager of the Year. Wednesday's the Cy Young Award, and Thursday is the MVP. All that stuff is coming out throughout the week here. Paul Skenes and Jason Bay are the only Rookie of the Year winners in the Bucks franchise history. A lot of great players have come through Pittsburgh. Whether you believe it or not, a lot of great baseball players came through Pittsburgh. Only two won Rookie of the Year again, Jason Bay and Paul Skenes. Just
goes back with what I said earlier about great pitchers going on to win series with other teams. The Pirates are the farm league of the MLB. Yeah. They just are. They have been for 30 years. We're the farm league. We are the quadruple A team of the minor leagues.
That's what it feels like. And Paul Skenes, I don't know if you said it right now. I was checking something real quick. His ERA is the lowest since like 1914 for a rookie.
Wow.
Yeah. Like all the other ones were like 1914 to like 1920. Then there's Paul Skenes 2024. So what
Pittsburgh he did was Penguins back in action today, guys. They play the Tampa Bay Lightning. That game's at 7:00. Also going into the weekend, this is what the Acrisure Stadium is going to be holding this Saturday. The high school championship games for the Whitfield guys. Number 1. Fort Cherry plays number 2 Clareton in the single A division. Number 2A South Park will be taking on Seton LaSalle. That's 1 and 2. 3A number 2 Central Valley will be taking on number 5 Avonworth, and 5A the number 1 Pine Richland will be taking on Peters Township. Real quick, guys, Westinghouse. I don't even know if we mentioned this the other day, Mike, but Westinghouse they played with 11 guys. They got into a big fight last week in the previous game. 30 kids got suspended. 30 kids from Westinghouse. They played with 11 guys. They scored 60 points in the first half. That's right, the team that had 11 guys. They scored 60 points in the first half. They won 68-0 over Perry, a fellow City League team. Westinghouse moving on 68-0 with 11 guys. Listen, they only played 10 guys on defense just so they could rotate a guy out to get a break every once in a while. 10 guys defense, 11 guys offense. They win 68-0 on moving on in the playoffs. No less. It wasn't a exhibition game way at the beginning of the season. This was against, again, another playoff team. They will be moving on. Again, that's Westinghouse. If you want to keep up with that, unbelievable those numbers, huh?
Are we sure it wasn't the Jacksonville Jaguars dressed up as Perry?
Well, and that's the second time. That's the second time they've had to play with 11 kids this year. But they won both. In convincing fashion.
That's City League, though. You never know what's going on in the city.
You never know what's going down there.
But also, yes, Brian points out that his team is South Park. My team is Central Valley. So we do have a few horses in the race here, but those all go down Saturday at Acrisure Stadium. I'm sure they'll be messing up the turf. So if the Steelers played Sunday, I'm sure they would be their opponent. Their kickers will be complaining, as Justin Tucker was after Pitt played Saturday. But We don't have to worry about that. We're going to Cleveland Thursday. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumbyinzers.com. Head on over there, everyone. Please check it out. We got links over there to a couple different places, especially we got all of our social media over there. We got the link to the Discord over there as well. We got the merch store. We got the blog over there. I put one up yesterday, a quick little thing about the game. So check it out at the2dumbyinzers.com. And remember, if you're new here, and there are a lot of new people coming in and out, I see it in the analytics, please like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. All right, guys. No change. As we do on this show every week, whoever the Steelers are playing, that is going to be who the trivia question of the day is about. So that is no different. Today is the Cleveland Browns trivia question. Finch, Mike, tighten up your thinking caps. Guys on the board, people at home, here we go. Who was the last team to beat the original Browns in the 20th century? So let me lay this out. They finished out in 1996. They went to Baltimore. The expansion team came in 1999. So we're talking about the team that finished in 1996. Let me ask the question again with that being said. Who was the last team to beat the original Browns in the 20th century? I think, you know what? I think it's a playoff game, actually, but that's neither here nor there. Who was the last team, guys, to beat the Browns in the 20th century? Take a moment to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. All right, guys, who was the last team to beat the original Browns in the 20th century? And it wouldn't be the 1999 Browns. It would be the team that folded in 96 and went to Baltimore. Finch, I'm going to start with you today. Who was the last team to beat the Browns?
I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Steelers. That's always a good pick, right?
In this case, I think it's a good pick.
Brian on the board says Denver.
Of course, he's
Mike?
probably looking it up. Yeah.
Right.
Cheater.
Well, that he's from South Park. Also from Brian's account, the Oilers. Mike, who was the last team to beat the Browns in the 20th century?
I'm going with Finch. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Also a Patriots. Phil the Steel says Colts.
I actually thought the Colts as well. I feel like the Browns may have played a playoff game versus the Colts in one of those later years and lost, but I'm not sure.
Jen says themselves, which is very possible.
Baltimore Ravens.
You're right. That's who took the soul from the Browns. All right, guys, the question of the day was this. Who was the last team to beat the original Browns in the 20th century? Guys, it happened in 1994 by the score of 29-9. It was, in fact, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Very last team to beat the Cleveland Browns, the original Cleveland Browns.
Mm-hmm. That was in Cleveland, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, they scheduled it that way because they knew the previous season that they were going to be the last season. They made sure that the Steelers were the last game.
Was that the game where they were tearing the bleachers out and throwing them?
Yeah.
See, they're animals.
People stole all kinds of stuff from that stadium.
Yeah. They're like wild animals. Hey, Joe, how you doing, my man? Yinzer Joe? Yeah, Mike.
I was going to say, I'm probably jumping the gun here, but Eric Rowe just posted on the old Twitter that he is back with the black and gold safety, Eric Rowe.
All right.
Take all the help.
No injuries. No significant injuries.
Yeah.
We did keep up on that, guys. So moving into tomorrow. Again, tomorrow is Steeler game day eve. Tomorrow already, again, the Steelers play Thursday night, 8:15 against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland on Thursday Night Football. Mike, anything before we start getting ready to wrap it up, my man?
No, I just had that real quick from Eric Rose saying he's back with the Steelers. I don't know where he's going to be, probably practice squad for now, but yeah, so he's back, and I can't wait, man.
I'm going to be completely honest with you, Phil. I want Mike to get it wrong most of the time. I would rather him get it wrong. So I wouldn't. And if I did, I would say that I did. I don't. I kind of hope that he gets it wrong. That's my goal today.
He lives to watch me humiliate myself on this show.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Finch, what about you, man? Anything before we get ready to wrap it up for today?
Nothing, man. I'm ready to play the Browns. I'm ready to get that win. We need it. I've been having a great time with you guys, not only on the show but on the Discord channel. We had an absolute blast during live chat. Brian mentioned it. One Man Sports. He jumped in on the live chat, and it was fun. Just kind of talking crap during the game and making fun of stuff on the field and having some live discussion. So everybody should join in on that Thursday night. That'd be great.
Yeah, I was really excited, guys. I got home from the radio station on whatever night that was, Friday. I was very excited to get on and hang out with you guys and watch the Tyson fight. Of course, there was all kind of issues with Netflix that night, but I thought that was going to be a lot of fun. We were going to have a blast. So we are looking forward to that as well, guys. So people pay attention to what Finch is saying about Discord. And Finch, where if people that don't know about Discord, give them a little bit of information on.
Yeah, just a quick rundown. It's an app. It's similar to like a Zoom or something like that, where you can get in and you can do video and voice with friends or people that are in the server. But there's also a lot of chat channels as well. So it's set up kind of like an old school forum, like a Reddit type thing. There's different categories for different types of chat. We have a meme chat in there. That's probably the most popular one. Every Steeler meme we see.
So explain to people, because again, you know, you're pretty on top of things. I mean, there are some people that aren't really just yet about Discord. When they go to Discord, so I mean, Mike just puts up a link right now. Somebody clicks on that, they go in. What can they expect when they go into?
You click the link, you just create a quick account like you would with any website or app. It's essentially an app available on your phone or on your PC, and it'll bring up this real nice interface. He's got it up on the screen, very nice. You can see on the left side of the interface we have different chat channels, Steeler chat, player analysis. There's some voice channels down below, like the lounge. That's where we go to do the live streams or just some video stuff that I've been working on. None of that saves, though. So if you're not there live, you're going to miss it. You have to be there live. So if somebody
jumps in live, they could talk to Mike, they could talk to Finch, whoever's in there. You can talk amongst each other. Anybody that's in there, you could have fun, talk.
Sure. One of our biggest contributors right now has been Jennifer. She's been awesome. She was in on all the chats so far, and she jumps in. If she jumped in right now and opened up a voice voice channel on there, I would get a notification. Mike would get a notification, and if we're available, we could click on it, and it would be right there. Cameras, microphones are live. You have the option to turn that stuff off, so you can listen in instead of being a part of it, which is totally fine.
So it's an opportunity to communicate and hang out and talk some to give us whatever.
To give us some humor and feedback on what we're doing well or what we're not doing well. You know, if we have a show and I say something extremely dumb and these guys want to burn me on the board but can't get in on the board, Discord's a better place for it because then I can see it. And then I can make screenshots and show it to my wife and she can laugh at me.
So a lot of cool things like that. So do check that out, guys. And Discord, you can find Mike does have the link up on the board, and also go and what will they do first? Just create a
profile.
Yeah, you just link an email address and you make a profile like anything else, and you're in. And then you can just explore the app. You can go back and see what we've posted before. Like I said, the meme page on there is great. We find some great Steeler memes. We've been crushing it with the memes.
Go check that out, everybody. Really cool. From
it's a community.
The experience, it's a community, and from what I've experienced so far, it's really awesome, guys.
I can only imagine what she said.
It was background noise. It was like I think she said it was her child or grandchild in the background just having a good time, and that's all we could hear for half of the first fight of the Tyson event.
Also, real quick before we do go, Yinzer Joe, or I do want to say hey to Joseph Johnson as well. Good morning to you as well as Yinzer Joe. Yinzer Joe said, guys, do you feel this is a trap game on Thursday? I think it has 100% potential to be a trap game, but I think the Steelers win this one. Again, we'll talk more about this
it's the Browns
forward. It's the Browns. Brian also makes a comment about Discord. He says it's easy. Even I was able to set up an account, is what Brian says.
No sex on the mics. No sex when the mics are on.
I don't think we're going to have to worry about that with Ryan.
It's a division game, long as we win. That's Joseph Johnson. And also, and then you've got into the mic talk.
Yeah.
That's about it, guys. Anything else before we wrap it up?
No, man. I think we covered it all today. Great show. Thank you again, everyone tuning in. Love it.
Or no sex with animals like Mike. But yeah, so
you want to
one time on there. Hey,
one time. It's interspecies erotica, okay?
And that chicken was a gossiping bitch anyway.
That's right.
She was.
I hated that chicken. But we do want to thank you guys, everybody. We want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We really, really, truly do. If it wasn't for you, we would not be doing what we're doing. Thank you so much. We want to thank everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting. And just everybody that did participate and that watched the show. We want to say we'll be back tomorrow. We have a lot of Browns stuff going on. I think we're going to wrap up the Ravens today. We're going to be all about the Browns tomorrow and Thursday going into the game. Also Thursday, we'll have Derpy back for the picks and getting ready for the game. So I believe Finch will be back tomorrow. Derpy will be in on Thursday. John says he misses the Derpy.
Me too, John. Me too, buddy.
We all miss.
I need more derp in my life.
We all need Derpy.
But if that's it,
breaking
guys.
news: the Jets fired their general manager, Joe Douglas. I thought it was Aaron Rodgers, but Joe Douglas fired by the New York Jets.
It probably was Aaron Rodgers. Got him fired.
Probably.
All right, guys. Well, I do want to say thank you one more time for the guys here on the show, for Finch,
Joe Douglas,
for Mike, in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself. Everybody have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow. Again, don't forget Penguins on tonight at 7 o'clock. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about that, the Steelers, the Browns, and a whole bunch more tomorrow right here on the Two Dumb Yinzers. Everybody have a great, great, great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.